So I actually brought the 10X to Tahiti. It's a dot on that world, but it's my dot, and it was important for me to bring your mentality, your mindset to that part of the world. My question for you would be like, what does 10X mean to you now?
So 10X to me is like, I'm here. What's outside of me 10 times? How can I create an impact, if you want to, that's 10 times bigger than maybe what you're thinking right now?
You were doing an interview and where you said that poor people are selfish. And
yeah.
That was the one phrase that really changed and clicked in my mind. And it was like in a series of lots of people talking, like a motivational video that my wife put. And then all the others didn't like talk to me. But then when you said it, it really clicked. And then from that moment, it was like if you were talking to me, because at that time I was just like a shadow of myself. I wasn't doing 10X. I wasn't fulfilling my potential.
Yeah.
And since that moment, like, you're always in my ear.
Yeah. Don't be selfish.
Yeah, don't be selfish.
You know, it's interesting because if you look, the Caribbean islands are just about, 200 miles this way. And whether it's Jamaica or Antigua or Barbados, all the way down to up until you get to St. Bart's, which is a French island.
Yeah.
All those islands up there suffer from extreme levels of unemployment. Yeah, here in the United States, we have about 3 or 4% unemployment. Over there, it could be 33%. A third of the people could be out of work. The reason that is on islands is because I can go fishing. Yeah. I can literally grab a boat, go out, fish, feed my family tonight. I don't need to work during the day. So there is the God provides so much abundance that there can be a sense, an illusion of I'm good. But the 10X thing is not about me being good. It's not about me being rich. It's not about me having a yacht or a plane or enough money and riches and success. It's about other people. And that's what I have not done a good job at really telling that story, that 10X is about it. Very unselfish. My observation of very, very successful people is they're not greedy. They're very, very unselfish because they don't have to do what they're doing.
Yeah, because and that's a myth I think that you're helping to break. Like, everybody's criticizing rich people, wealthy people, and that's something that I also wanted to bring to Tahiti, is that you have control over your reactions, you have control over your actions, and that's the most important part. And if you live a life where you can help people, then you're selfish if you don't. And that's, I think, what really talks to me.
If you can help.
Yeah.
If you can help, like if you can help other people. And now the issue is now, can you help? So like when I was 25 years old, I couldn't really help anybody, dude, because I was a mess. Between 15 and 25, I was just, the only person I needed to help was me. Like in the beginning, in the very, very beginning, the only person people should help. This is when you should be selfish, so that one day you can be unselfish. And I think people get it out of order. They're like, oh, I want to be unselfish, when no, right now you need to take care of you. You need to get yourself in shape, your finances in shape. You need to, spend money or borrow money for your own education. And then once you're actually doing something and you have something to give, it doesn't have to be money, by the way. This is not really a money topic. It could be just setting a great example. It just so happens if you're out doing something and setting a great example and it's working, it should monetize. Yeah. You should be rewarded in society by the actions you're taking.
Yeah, that's a message I try to put out in Tahiti, is that you have, at the beginning, you do have to be selfish to be generous afterwards. Yeah. And to impact the most people you can. And a program that you do, the 10X Business Coaches, right? It's actually something that I'm doing now. I'm at the certification, and it's a great community. And I love how everybody has really the same mindset, and they're trying to, because you say you want to help 8 billion people, right, in the world, and that's one of the ways that you can do it. And with social media and everything that's going on, what would you say to people that how to how to detect like fake, like, you know, fake gurus, fake like con artists, stuff like that.
Yeah. So look for you know, look for somebody that's being transparent. Like if a guy tells you he's a horse trainer, all you got to do is ask for, okay, what are the names of the horses and the owners that you've been training, and how many races have they won? Yeah. The you know, on the problem on social media is, one is there you can say anything you want. That's the good and the bad of it. Back to good and bad of everything. I could say anything about, I could say Grant Cardone just bought a bunch of Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin, I own gold, I own silver, but I don't own any of it. You know, I do have a little Bitcoin, but I don't own any gold and silver, but I could be giving people advice on gold and silver. Now, that's wrong, clearly. But more wrong than that is the person watching that doesn't ask, show me the gold, show me the silver, show me the Bitcoin, or show me the real estate, or show me the books you sold, or show me the people you've helped. All you have to do is ask. Like, and the moment Grant runs, or the guru runs and says, I don't need to show you that. They get angry. I don't need to show you that. How dare you ask me that? Yeah. Dude, just move on. Just understand that you are dealing with someone that either is so inflated in their ego that they're like, I don't have to show you that. Big Pharma did this. I don't need to show you the results. I don't have to show you the results. This is safe. Take it. But, and a lot of people took it, whatever that is, right? This has been going on for 50 years of people, Big Pharma selling drugs that really didn't have any validation in the marketplace, from Valium in the 1960s that addicted 60 million housewives in America. And they said, no, it's not addictive, but it was. But so many people said, show me how you know it's not addictive, right? And so that's what I would tell people to do. Like, if somebody's going to teach you a real estate course and say they're a real estate expert, show me your real estate. Yeah. Show me the real estate performance. Show me your real estate investors. Show me what you bought this week, this month. Because a lot of teachers out there are not practitioners, meaning they're teaching, but they're not practicing.
Yeah.
And so look, if you guys are worried about, if you're worried about being taken advantage of, and you're worried about scams, first you got to ask yourself, okay, why are you so skeptical? Which is fine. I am a very skeptical person. I believe everything is bullshit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to validate. I'm looking to validate the truth. Okay. So, and I believe probably that it's not real, because I've seen enough not real people. So in 40 years that I've been doing business, I've been taken advantage of twice in 40 years. And both times, by the way, I neglected to look deeper. And I knew it. I already had the clues. So just remember, for everybody out there that's worried about getting scammed or taken advantage of, you have to participate in the scam. Yeah. Okay. And the way to reduce that from happening to you, and maybe get it down to zero, is just simply ask. Show me the sales course you're teaching. Show me 1,000 people that you've sold it to. Show me the results of 1,000 people. I'm not looking for 1,000 people to win with it, by the way. I'm looking for 10% to win with it. Okay. I just want to be one of the 10%, because I know for sure 90% of the people will do nothing with everything. No matter what you gave them. You could give them bread from Jesus, the Holy Spirit, drop it on them, and they still wouldn't use it. Yeah. And that is even a bigger scam, is that people buy a book and they don't read it.
Yeah. And talking about the books, which one of your books is your proudest?
Oh man, the one that you read that gets you, right? It's like I'm not a big fan of books. I read more books than I've written, clearly. The reason I'm not a big fan of books is because so many people don't finish them. 83% of all books that are started are not completed, or not read. And as somebody that writes a book, the problem with a book, and I'm a big reader. I read a lot, okay? So, but the problem with the book is that when I send you the book, I don't know that you got it, because Amazon delivered it to you. I don't know if you read it. I don't know if you opened it. I don't know if you duplicated it. I don't know if you used it. That's the problem. That's why we started taking all our books and putting them on audio and video. Yeah. So when we wrote the 10X rule, then we followed it up with an audio program that we can actually track and a video series that we can even track better how many chapters somebody got through. Did they understand it? We can test them at the end of it. That's why we built Cardone University. I'm a much bigger fan as the originator, because now I can find out, oh, dude, you read it. You got the book, you got the audio, you got the video program. You're going through Cardone University. Now I can see how much you're going through, and I can actually start helping you follow up. And maybe you become a licensee and start training the information, because I can't reach 8 billion people with a book. One, there's too many different languages. Two, the distribution's impossible. For me to get a book to India today will take 3 weeks, go through imports, possibly get lost or stolen, hijacked. Who knows what could happen. So, but I can deliver video content anywhere. What's my favorite book? Man, the one you're reading, man. Okay, we did Sell or Be Sold, Closed Survival Guide, If You're Not First, You're Last, How to Create Wealth Investing in Real Estate, the 10X Rule, all of it in video, all of it in audio, all of it read or delivered by me. And what else have I written? The Millionaire Booklet. The Millionaire Booklet's probably had more distributions than all the other books combined. It's a little pamphlet, about 30 pages. I wrote that book in 2 hours. The Wealth Creation Formula, we just finished that book. But my favorite, it's the same answer for my books as it would be my social media. Which one is best for you right now?
All right. Yeah, I actually bought like 100 books in France, and brought it back to Tahiti, so people can buy it and read it, and it's people love it. People love it,
great. and what was that? Sell or Be Sold?
No, 10X. The
10X rule in
French. Yeah. And yesterday when you stopped by the meeting, classroom, so Sabrina was behind me, and I was telling her that I hope she writes a book soon.
I tell her, man.
Yeah, I saw your interview where he asked ChatGPT, and it was like a adventure book.
Yeah.
But like on children, because I have two sons.
10X kids. I forgot about 10X kids. I don't know if you have it up there.
And so I have 2 sons in Tahiti, and they really changed my life.
How old?
10 and 7.
Oh, cool.
10 and 7 boys. Yeah. And how did your family, your daughters, change yours?
I mean, dude, I remember when Sabrina was born, my whole schedule changed. I was getting up every morning, taking her. Like, I didn't have this a day before. I wasn't doing this. And as soon as we had her, my whole schedule changed. I'm taking her to the store every morning. Literally, she's 3 and 4 and 5 days old, and every day I'm taking her out, right? And did this for years. Where first thing every day I'd spend an hour with her, just me and her. Today, Scarlett, we get up early in the morning. I take her for a ride. We just drive around Miami. Any of you guys that live in Miami, you'll see me every morning driving with Scarlett, talking, listening to her dramas as a 12-year-old. And kids, man, like, I didn't have kids until I was 51 years old. And because I thought it was going to negatively impact my business. Yeah. I was so wrong. I was so absolutely wrong. It actually added to my creativity. It opened me up to, new ideas and awareness about the importance of family, and made me a better communicator and just better person. Yeah. I can't say enough for kids. We homeschool our children. We don't send them off to a school for strangers to misrepresent.
Yeah, that's something that I want to do, but we don't have that system, the homeschooling system.
It's not allowed there, or what?
Well, they have to go to school until 16, but there's no real online or like homeschooling program. And is that something that you think of doing, like a 10X Kids School or something? Yeah,
we're rolling 10X Kids out right now. So we're going to take Cardone University, which was built for sales, marketing, scaling, how to really start a business, run a business, grow a business. But we're going to make all that kid friendly. All that content that's been consumed by tens of millions of people, we're going to bring it to the 12-year-old. Nice. And go outside the school system. So you see, like in most places, including America, probably Tahiti too, you can't really get education into the school system. Yeah. It's pretty locked down as to what you can teach kids. So, but online, kids are going to YouTube and TikTok. Hopefully we don't ban TikTok in America, and then we can deliver content to kids where they are. They want to learn. Actually, kids don't want to learn. They want to earn.
Yeah.
They want to earn. They want to be entertained, just like adults. Okay. Adults don't really want to learn how to get abs. They want abs. You know, people don't want to learn how to become a millionaire. They want to win. Yeah. They want to be a millionaire, right? Like lottery tickets. They sell lottery tickets where you are. We lottery tickets in America produce more revenue than NFL, the NBA, MLB, soccer, worldwide soccer, and all entertainment combined, including Disney, ABC, CBS, NBC. It's a lottery ticket, man. Yeah. Why? Because I get to buy a lottery ticket for $1 and I might become a billionaire. So my point is, people want to earn, kids want to earn. Once they could go out and earn some money, then they'd be like, show me how to do that again. Then they're open to learning. So that's what we're going to do with 10X Kids University, make it really, really easy for kids to learn. And we bring kids into our studio and they actually shoot my content as a 14-year-old or a 12-year-old or an 8-year-old. Yeah. So maybe your kids could start producing some of the content out of Cardone U or Sell or Be Sold or the 10X Rule. And they could send me the video and I'll put them in the 10X Kids University.
Oh, with pleasure. Because, I do put them on social to talk about, because even if they're small, I think they like understand money a lot better than a lot of adults. And so they already know how to like, not really say, but how to invest and like the compounding interest.
It's crazy to me how many parents think their kids can't learn when they're 3 and 4 and 5. But the truth is,
that's the best time.
Dude, like, that's where they learn everything. Yeah. That's where everything is learned. Okay. That's where if you have a 4-year-old and the 7-year-old is doing bad things, you're like, don't teach your little brother that, because they're learning everything. So that is the best time to start teaching money and finance and cash flow and cash and investing. And like, that's why the Asians do so well. Because they're being taught this. Like in America, I don't know what it's like in your country, but the top 2 earners in America are Indians by double white people. Double. The income is double. The net worth is double. And then it goes Indians and then Asian Americans.
Yeah, I say we have a large Asian community, and they are the wealthiest people.
Because money, investing, finances, math are priorities early on in life.
Yeah, and I don't understand why, even worldwide, why we don't talk enough about money and why we don't educate.
Because, better to have dumb people.
Yeah.
Better to have cattle.
Yeah. And my wife, she's my, I always say she's my like muse, my inspiration. And first time we came to a live event was GrowthCon last year, and we actually met you and Elena, and I told her it was funny because we have roughly the same story. She didn't want to go out with me at the beginning. Yeah, I had like to chase her for a while, and then when I heard her story with you, it was funny. And so how?
What are you telling her? When I'm telling the story, or Elena was telling the story?
Yeah, and so how because my wife always brings me like the best.
Brings the best and the worst out of you.
Yeah,
exactly. So Elena told me this morning. She says, she texts me, man, it made me feel so good. The wife can either make you feel so good or so bad, right? Because it's the person that you spend the most time with, and that person, the spouse, knows everything. And she says, she says to me, as we head into the 10X Growth Conference this year, it's next week, she says, I want to tell you how proud I am of all you've accomplished. I'm really proud of you. Dude,
that's the best feeling, honestly.
Bro, I don't know what that does for women. I imagine it does the same thing as it does for men, but men are so predictable. Like, all you got to do is tell me you're proud of me, tell me I'm doing a great job, tell me you trust me. The moment you start not trusting me, like even as a driver, like I've been married 20 years. I have never like never damaged a car with my wife, but she does not trust me as a driver. Freaking kills me, man. Or she'll ask me about like, there's this civil thing going on right now. I have this little mess going on.
I heard, yeah.
Huh?
I heard. I mean, I
and you need to do this, this, and this. I'm like, bro, leave me alone. I got this. Like, you're telling LeBron how to drive to the basket. Okay, don't do that. It's a bad look. You just don't do that as a coach or a spouse. Trust your husband if he's winning. Yeah. Like and this is what I would say to all the married people out there. If your husband or your wife, grade them, okay? Like my grade is never lower than like a 96, 7, 98. Like I'm not perfect, by the way. I never have 100. But I never have a B. I am always excelling. And so the thing to do is to reward and penalize, right? Don't penalize the winning team. I'm winning all the time for this family. And so that's when I need my spouse rooting me on. Let's go get another one. Just go get another one. I believe in you. Run the play. Don't get in the huddle and start trying to run the play with me. You know, let me be the guy. I know for men, I can't speak for women. Men want that. They want to know they have a cheerleader. And yeah, like it might be sexist, but I want her over there, not in the huddle. I want her over there. You're the best. You're the best. I want her in the stands watching me, taking pictures, like bringing her family, talking about how great I am. That is what, for all the ladies out there, if you're living with a high performer, alpha man that wants to take care of, that is that provider guy, dude, the best thing you can do is support him, believe in him, trust him to get you from place to place. And I told my wife the other day, I said, hey, you noticed that we made it home without getting in a wreck, right? You should say again, because it's only been like 10,000 times I've done this. Okay. You should pay more attention to what I did right than you got too close to that car back there. I got too close, but I didn't hit anybody. And the next thing she said, which was even better for me, was she says, hey, don't, I said, dude, I'm terrified because it's coming, man. This thing is always overwhelming, this growth conference we do. She's like, don't be terrified. You're a king. That doesn't really mean much to me. You don't fight it anymore. She's like, own it. You've earned it, blah, blah, blah. That's all motivational bullshit. And then she says, look, and this is what hit me. She's like, incredible things happen in your space. You don't need to do anything other than show up, which is true. Yeah. I show up and then I let it happen. I always take a lot of risk, which when you're taking risk, okay, if you're with an alpha guy or a gal and they're taking risk,
you get rewarded.
Yeah, maybe you get rewarded, but it's going to feel like, but it's a risk. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a risk, right? If there's a risk, there's going to be a little fear in the space. Yeah. So I'm always kind of pushing the edge, right? So it's keeping my wife angst. Mm. But you guys, hey man, that's what you got in. Your wife agreed to come on the game with you, yeah. Right?
Well, she knew actually the reason why I came into the let's say the coaching space or the mindset, because before that I was like a little against coaching because I was in my mindset it was like the fake gurus and stuff like that. Yeah. And then that's why whatever you were saying was really it was really hitting me, and then when we met you guys at GrowthCon at the buyers gala, like you're like that. You're exactly like that. You're authentic. You're talking like if we were normal people. Yeah. And that's I think what is your makes also your success when you talk and you're authentic and you do all.
Well, that's the part that keeps me away from more success too, though. You know.
Yeah, but I think that's the thing that'll really build your legacy and all that. And so,
well, certainly it's going to make me feel good. It makes me feel better about myself at night because I'm like, okay, I didn't pretend. I didn't come out and tell try to pull your heartstrings and suck you into some fake environment. So I'm not trying, but the problem is with the authenticity, right? Because everybody's like, oh, that's the new currency or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what that means, but most people say they want to be authentic, but they're not. That you don't even like. One, people really don't want authenticity as much as they say they want it, any more than they want an honest politician, by the way. They say they want an honest politician, but the moment the honest politician comes out and says, hey, man, we need to change this, this, and this, and you're like, no, I don't want that to change, but they're telling you the truth, then you won't vote for him. Yeah. The moment I tell you authentically, you know, that be selfish. And then until you can be unselfish, that money's important. Like I do a lot of stuff that just bothers people, man. I'm like, dude, you need to make more money. Well, how much money do you need to make? In Miami, if you're not a millionaire in Miami, will buy a junk house in this town. I mean, a house that you'll look at and say, that person is poor that lives in that house, but that cost $1 million too. So when you start telling people the truth, you know, they want authenticity until you give it to them. You know, somebody asked me about their speech the other day. I'm like, dude, it was terrible. Well, what recommendations would you give? Throw the whole thing away. Like they're all like, oh my God, that's so brutal. Most people don't want that kind of truth.
Yeah. And talking about politics, is that something that you ever envisioned?
Yeah, I mean, look, politics, it is probably the most intriguing arena because the part that intrigues me about it is the idea that I would actually do this and then pull off, like rip somebody's face off their head, right? Like, because it's such a brutal sport. It is a brutal, nasty, it is the nastiest game. And so it intrigues me because it's like, could I weather it? Could I handle it? Am I built for it? I don't know. I don't know the answer. That's what intrigues me. Right. It's a, cause it's so nasty, bro. Like nobody understands how, I think everybody knows it's nasty, but you don't understand how nasty it is when they start creating stories about you. Yeah. It's why Trump did so well here, because the stories didn't mean anything to him. He's like, yeah, I had 3 marriages. Yeah. I love women.
Yeah. He owned it.
He owned it. Yeah. You know? And so, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. It takes a lot of money, man. To be a governor here, no, to be a senator. I have a buddy that ran for Senate in Ohio. He spent $15 million. Vivek Ramaswamy, he spent $15 million. His investment was good because he's a national name now. But you got to be willing to throw a lot of money for maybe.
For maybe, yeah. And GrowthCon is next week.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm going, of course.
Good, man. And, you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
I got some great speakers coming.
Yeah. I always try to find out who's coming first, but yeah.
AS, TC, TS, GC. I'm giving you some names right now. JM. I'm giving you some tips. I'm giving you some little, what are these called? Riddles? Riddle me? Clues? Easter, yeah. These are little people that are going to be there.
Right.
We got, who else we got? We got MT coming.
Okay. And
TC coming.
Like
AS coming.
I heard in your previous interviews that you're trying to exit that market.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a time where we don't do these big events anymore. So or the big events just going to be for people like you. And it'll only be for partners. For our investors, our top coaches. It won't be 34,000 people or 12,000 people buying a ticket. Yeah. It'll be, I don't know if that happens in the next 2 years but it'll happen where it's just private event, you know, high entertainment value, more of an appreciation and a gala, awards, you know.
Because I saw your daughter. I mean, last year I saw both your daughters on stage, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was really inspiring to see how young they are and how confident they are speaking. And I always thought that they would maybe take over that.
Yeah, I don't think Scarlett will. You know, I don't think Scarlett has as much interest as Sabrina does. But maybe, you know, who knows? I think Sabrina's more interested in the real estate than she is the educational arm of the business. Because I think she thinks the play on Cardone Capital is much bigger, you know, and a bigger legacy than even the education.
Yeah. And have you ever thought of opening it up to international
investors?
Yeah,
investors? We already take international investors. It's just a little harder because of all the rules and laws of taking money into the United States. But I don't know, maybe 5 or 6% of our investor base right now is international.
And who was your favorite person to interview?
Probably my favorite interview, if I went back to one, I mean, a couple of things come to mind. Tom Brady was definitely a favorite. Yeah. I was watching his story on Amazon or Netflix, the Patriots legacy, or what was it called? New England Patriots, the dynasty, maybe. I was watching the show, and when I was watching it, great show, a documentary. And Elena's like, "Did you think about your interview with Tom while you were watching this?" I said, "Not even one time." The interview I did with Tom I had no regrets when it was over. Kevin Hart, another one. Like when it was over, it was such an easy, seamless, just like when it was done, I didn't I should have asked him this, you know. And then there's been others that have been very hard, man. Like I'm pulling teeth. Like, give me something, bro. Yeah. But I loved the one with Kevin. Loved it with Tom. There's some that I would love to do. I hope one day to be able to interview Dave Chappelle. I'd love to interview Tom Cruise. We've tried to get Joe Biden to come 4 years ago, and we tried to get Barack to come. I don't know why they're so scared to come. I'm like, bro, I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm an American. I'm an entrepreneur. I just want to take care of my family. I'm just interested in interesting people. I don't care what their politics are.
Yeah. And talking about America, the American dream, when did you know, that you got it? That you know that after all the issues you had with the drugs and all that, when did you know that that this was the moment that everything really changed?
Yeah, I don't think there was a moment where I'm like, okay, I can do this. There's been, if there was a moment, it would be, I'm 25 years old. I was making, I don't know, $3,000 a month, 2,000, nothing, paying my bills. And for the first time, I raised my income. I was a salesman, and my income went up $1,000. It was significant to me. I think I was making $2,000 at the time, and I went from $2,000 to $3,000. And I was like, oh my God, I can control my income. It was like my eyes had been peeled open. And I was like, oh, I can control my income for the first time in my life. I didn't know this until I was 25. I had 17 years of education and had no idea. Nobody taught me in 17 years, 12 years of high school or grade school and 5 years of college. Nobody said, you control your income. And that was my first experience as a salesman, that if I learned different strategies, if I learned how to communicate with people, follow people up, handle objections, that I could actually do better, be a performer. And so that was mine, but I was still only making $3,000 a month. Then when I got really good at it, and all of a sudden my income went from 3 to 5, 5 to 7, 7 to 10 a month. I remember when I made $92,000 in a year, dude. I was like, I am the king. Where I lived, $92,000 was a massive amount of money. Yeah. And I never thought about working for myself. I never thought about being the boss. I never thought about being a CEO. I never thought about scaling, or I never thought about being a millionaire. None of that. All that happened. None of that was like me. I didn't have those targets. Yeah. It was gradual improvements. And then what happened is I got a little higher on the mountain. I saw, you get to see other stuff, and you start getting, you hear other stories, and you see other possibilities, right? So it wasn't a thing. It was like riding a bike. You know, in the beginning, you're like, man, there's no way I can ride this bike. And then 3 weeks later, you see somebody pop a wheelie, and you're like, I wonder if I can ride on one wheel. And the next thing you know, you're riding down the street on one wheel.
Yeah. Another quote that I like from you is that like never to lower your targets, and always like increase your actions. And what would be maybe your favorite quote, not from you, but from like, or the mentors that you studied?
Yeah. Well, so many of them, you know, so many of them have changed or influenced me. So many little things that I've heard along the way that have influenced me. It's not one thing. It's been a stack of things for me. It's never been one. Yeah. Oh, that was it. Like, and I think people need to quit looking for the one, you know, thing. It's like, you got to stack. So like, as much credit as I'd like to give one thing, I just want to credit all the bad books I read, all the bad workshops I went to, all the things that didn't work for me, all the prayers that went unanswered, all the sales calls that I made and nobody bought from me, all the rejection, all the appointments that didn't show for me. Like, all that stuff built me too, you know? So like, there was a book I bought once. It was called I never read the book. It was a real estate book about empires, and not empires, but it was, I don't know. It was some big title about build a, I don't know, net worth or empire or wealth or something. I never read the book, man. Mm. The title changed my mind. Mm. I'm like, oh, wow. I never thought about, I'm going to use real estate to build my empire. Mm. And, workshops that I went to, I'm like, that was terrible. That was awful. But I learned something. Yeah. So I think everybody should look, like, if you could just open your eyes and look for everything to add something. All the terrible jobs you had, like those are experiences that you're going to use later on. I worked in a grocery store when I was, 15. It was called Market Basket, and I'm being paid $1.75 an hour. And I was in the produce department, and I didn't know I was learning anything. But the guy said, look, man, every day you come in here, he didn't call me man because I wasn't a man, but he says, look, every day you come in here, look for the bruised fruit and bring it forward. In this case, it was bananas. Anything with a bruise, bring it forward. You move the green to the back, yellow in the middle, bruise to the front. Well, I didn't know I was going to use that one day, but that's about controlling your inventory. It's about controlling your assets, right? It's about moving products. Something's getting old, move it to the front. If you got to discount it to move it, move it. Yeah. But I was learning when I was 15 years old. You don't know what you're learning. Because unfortunately, the school system, back to the problems with the school system, is you're just in school. Yeah. I don't know why I'm learning what I'm learning. And see, the Chinese know why they're learning. Yeah. They're learning because they want to put some money together. The Jewish community has been famous for teaching their kids about money, saving, investing, multiplying money. And so I would just tell everybody, man, go to as many bad things, read as many bad books as you can. Just look for everything as a learning experience.
Yeah. I always say that you use your failures as a path to guide you. And that, like you say, the liability becomes an asset.
That's right.
That's something that we try to tell in Tahiti. Are we
right?
Okay. And also another thing that I learned.
You do a great interview, by the way. No notes, and you just kind of rolls with it, right?
Thank you.
I like that.
Thank you. But to be honest, like last time at GrowthCon, the first time I talked to you, like the mic was you had to tell me put the mic.
You're doing great, man.
Thank you. So like another thing I learned from you is to stop learning from tens or dozens of mentors, to focus on a couple of few. And well, in my case, I was lucky to find you, and that's really what I'm trying to bring to Tahiti, and like you were saying, the fact of traveling has been an advantage for me because I actually lived 5 years in the States and 7 years in Israel, and that helped me a lot to open my mindset and be open to all the possibilities in the world. And like what would be the legacy? I mean, besides real estate, besides stuff like that, what would be your legacy that you want to leave this world?
Look, I mean, I think that in 20 years, 50, 30 years, people are going to still go back to some of these books that I've written and the video programs I've done, some of the clips. You're going to be, you're going to live longer than I am. And you're going to tell people about this interview today. And you're going to tell people, look, there's this guy. Somebody's going to ask you one day, hey, man, what's the most impactful thing you ever heard? And you might say, Grant Cardone told me to be selfish. Or you're going to say, Grant Cardone told me it was selfish for me not to be successful. To be satisfied, to be comfortable is selfish. So maybe that's what you're going to, that's a legacy. You'll use my name, hopefully not confuse it with somebody else's name. And, back to the thing you said about people studying deep rather than so many subjects. Like, I'm going to go back to the school system. I studied in 12 years. They must have put me through, 40 or 50 different courses. Like, I understand I have to learn these things, but I wasn't good at anything by the time I left.
Me too, actually.
Like, I did woodwork one year. I did what's it called? Home ec. What the fuck am I doing home ec for? Like, what am I, like, I don't know what I'm learning. Like there was nothing, I was good at nothing. And in college, did accounting. I did accounting. I spent 5 years in accounting. I didn't even know how to balance a checkbook when I got it. I didn't know the difference between my liabilities and my assets. I knew what they should look like on a financial statement, but I didn't know how to bring income in. I didn't know anything that was applicable. So, hopefully people are going to remember me. They're not going to remember the plane I flew. They're going to remember, hey, dude, that guy, I don't know. He taught me how to buy a great real estate deal that would take care of my family. Hopefully there's something beyond that, though. My goal would be that there's an institution in place. Cardone Capital would be my desired target. That could be an institution that would live way beyond my name. And that this would become a company 100 years from now. People would be like, hey, there was actually a person that was Cardone. And they'd be like, what? I thought Cardone was a bank with $150 billion under management. They didn't know that it was a person. It started with a person.
Yeah, and like Cardone Capital, when I heard you first talking about it, it was to bring in the normal people. Yeah. Like first it was like your family, right?
Yeah, we were going to have a branch in Tahiti, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I also heard that you're discussing doing like insurance and banks and stuff like that. What would be like the difference in how you would grow it and what's currently doing?
Well, we would grow amongst our organization. We would grow it our way. We would provide tremendous amounts of support, education, sales support, follow-up support. We would do it the way we do things here, which is really pass on education. Most of the insurance companies out there today don't really provide a lot of education. They're just selling a policy. Yeah. And they're not actually helping people with leads, market generation, monetization, how to convert people, how to follow people up, how to build an ecosystem. So we would provide a lot of education with it. But we took our health business. I don't know anything about health. I had a meeting right before this about another thing we're about to do in our 10X health expansion, and providing doctors and nurses around the world with ways to scale their business. You could be a doctor and not know how to grow your business. Yeah. So chiropractors, nurses, doctors, teachers, there's so many valuable people out there in the marketplace, but the system hasn't really provided them with an ecosystem where they can be prosperous. Doctors are underpaid, nurses are underpaid, teachers are underpaid. And so what we would do with life insurance is what we did with our 10X health business. We would brand it We would scale it, we would market it correctly, and then create an ecosystem of insurance agents that could really make, you know, great livings, great incomes, building a business around insurance and maybe exploit what these big insurance companies have not done.
All right. And last question, and then like I realized when I was doing the videos in Tahiti that a lot of the things that I'm saying is also for my children, so they can, and my like grandchildren and all that. What would be the like your advice to all the children in the world?
Oh, man, look, be productive. You know, somebody asked me in an interview once, do I want my kids to be happy? I said, that's not really the goal. My goal is for my kids to be productive. Be productive and you'll be happy. Be productive and be busy. Stay busy and you won't end up on drugs. You know, hang out with productive people and you won't end up with losers. Like productivity, if you just, like if you go down the road and you just stay productive, you will end up in a better place than if you're not. And productivity will lead to happiness. Productivity will lead to self-respect. Productivity leads to a sense of self-esteem and contribution and importance and, you know, be productive. And like, if you want to be an actress, learn everything about cinematography, about filming, about editing, about graphics, about production, about raising money. Like, be productive in the space. Don't just do a job. Don't just do enough. This is back to 10X. If you do enough, it will be enough until it's not enough. And by the time you found out it's not enough, you lost your job, you lost the industry, you lost the mark, you lost your position. All the energy you put into it is gone because you did just enough. And unfortunately, most people are operating with this just enough attitude, like you deserve something and you don't. So I would just tell all the kids in the world, man, be productive, more productive. Do more than you think is necessary. Do more than you're asked of. Hang around people that do that. And if you just do that, you're probably gonna not do a bunch of the dumb stuff. Because if you can't 10X it, it's bad for you. Right? So if a kid comes up to you and says, hey, you want to try this drug? Just one time. Just ask yourself, would I do it 10 times? Would I do 10 doses of this? If you wouldn't do it 10 times and you won't do 10 doses, don't do one dose. But if I bring you something and say, hey, man, you want to learn how to make $1 million? And you say, what, do I want to do that 10 times? Yeah. You want to help one person? Do I want to help one person 10 times? Yes. Okay. Do I want to go feed homeless people? And I could feed 100 homeless people, and then just ask yourself, would I want to feed 10 times that many? Yes. Well, then anything that you're willing to 10X probably should be something you should do. And things you don't want to 10X, don't do it one time.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
And it was amazing. I could talk to you all day, but yeah, I want to be respectful.
You do a great job, and I can't wait to get back to Tahiti, okay?
Well,
You'll show me around, all right?
Yeah. I tried to get this interview on the jet, and they said, no, he doesn't like people on the jet. And okay.
Oh, who told you that, man? It's just, it doesn't shoot for a good interview. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Okay?
So I'm, truly humbled.
Thank you, brother.
Be here.
Appreciate it.
I actually started like a podcast that I do. It's called Beat the Sun Podcast. It's
wow.
At 5 a.m.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like at the beginning, there's nobody. And then like there's like 50 people.
How do you say beat the sun up in
No, I actually
French?
say beat the sun, but
how do you say it in French?
Réveiller avant le soleil.
Say again?
Réveiller avant le soleil.
I'm not going to even try that.